Hey everyone, how are we doing? Good to see you, Tiffany. I think we might actually keep that the same. We will have basically with the tests coming up on Monday, you'll have the Canvas content. On Tuesday, you'll have the homework and the quiz, and on Wednesday, you'll have the test. So it is kind of a big week next week too. The material's not too crazy. We might try to do some of the Canvas content during class. So I would suggest looking at the Canvas content number 4 for chapter 6 during class. I think the biggest thing is, and we will be reviewing on Wednesday. So next week is a big week for Stat 201, with basically Monday being class and then the Canvas content that evening. We'll try to do some of that during class. And then Tuesday being the assignment for chapter 6. Chapter 6 is not that bad of a chapter. It's correlation, a little bit easier of a chapter, not that many concept. We have strength, direction, form, unusual features. What is correlation of value between -1 and 1? Yeah, sure. You want to take a look? Yeah, let's take a look at it. That's the first question of the day. Great stuff right here. Let's make sure MuBot's hanging around right now. Oh, down to people. I didn't end that. Oh, am I not giving people points? Whoops. MuBot, I just deleted you from this world, MuBot. You no longer exist. Let's get the Canvas content number 4 up and going. Good stuff right here. Got some emails for later. Error on activity 3. No. Lots going on. Stat 201 meeting tonight. Stat 201 every day. Let's take a look. Getting the Stat 201 Canvas content number 4. Got Canvas content number 3, but got some Canvas content number 4. Okay, good to go. Let's go take a look at Stat 201. First question, p-value for correlation with statistics implies that correlation is due to random chance. What random chance? Let's go take a look at this right here. We'll see it. We'll see what version we get, and we'll go back and do that one if we don't have it on our version. Canvas content number 4. Let's go take a look at it. Okay. So the ways we describe quantitative data, are 4 ways. Well, actually, let's review. What are the 3 ways? 320, 201 should know this. What are the 3 ways to describe univariate data? And we were literally covering this in 320 today. We talked about the 3 ways to describe univariate data right here. What are the 3 ways to describe univariate data? These distributions right here have a difference in the what for them. The 3 ways to describe univariate quantitative data is we can talk about differences in the what's of the distributions. So look at the first graphic, and those have difference. This is univariate quantitative data. Univariate. So you see 2 distributions right here, and they have differences in the what's of the distribution. So that first graphic right there, they have differences in the what's. This is univariate quantitative data. We have one way to talk about the differences are the difference between the what's of the distributions. Distribution red, distribution black, and we see differences between 2 distributions right here and the differences in their what's. So this is univariate quantitative data, and this is 320-201. Great concepts right here. We covered in both classes. This is one quantitative variable, and we're comparing 2 different distributions, and the differences we see right here are differences in the what. Make sure we're on the live chat. The mean, Tiffany, great answer right there. This is the center, which is the mean. Tiffany, great answer right there. That is the center. Some points right there. And then this one right here, you see differences in the what of the distributions. What do you see differences in the distributions right here? So this is how we talk about univariate quantitative data. Remember, univariate quantitative data is something, center, something. So remember, univariate quantitative data is like histograms, which we basically see here. And now you see differences in the what. The red distribution is more what out than the black distribution here. So now we see a difference in the what's of the distributions in the second graphic. In the second graphic, that's a difference in the what's. The first one had different centers because they have different, like where the center of the distribution's at. The second one has different max or min, which is actually a great answer right there. That's a measure of spread. We have different spread. And then the last one right here, if you look at these, they have different what's to them. The 2 distributions right here have a different what to them. So it's the first one. We talk about something, center, spread. When we talk about univariate quantitative data, the ways we talk about it are something, center, spread. So this is univariate quantitative data, one quantitative variable, we're just looking at a distribution of like height or something, we can talk about the something of it, the center of it, and the spread of it. And we have measures of like mean and median, IQR and standard deviation to look at these concepts. And the last concept right here between these two distributions are differences in the shape. Great job, Tiffany. Now, this is for univariate quantitative data, but we're comparing two distributions. If we have bivariate, we're going to have the following. We're going to have strength, direction, form, and unusual features. Strength is going to have two concepts. It's going to go from -1 to +1. So this is, it's going to go through 0, ... 0, ... 1. So the closer it is to 0, the weaker it is. And 0 will generally look like a 0 if you draw a plot right here. This is two quantitative variables. So when we look at two quantitative variables, we can measure the strength of them. When it's closer to 1, it actually looks more like a 1. And this would be correlation of 1 right here. This would be correlation of 0. But good question, what is stronger? A correlation of -1 or a correlation of 1? It's close to -1. It's not perfect. What is closer? What is stronger? A correlation of -1 or 1? What is stronger? Good question right here. What is stronger, -1 or 1? What is stronger, -1 or 1? Which of those would be stronger, the -1 or the 1? Trick question. Strength goes from -1 to 1, with 0 being the weakest. I do want to mention that there can be things with 0 that actually have a correlation, like this has a correlation of 0. It's just no linear correlation. So both of these have R equal to 0. They're both the same. Tiffany, good answers right there. Good try at it. Don't worry. They're both the same. They just have a different direction. Where direction can be positive, negative, or neither. So this one right here, I don't know how to spell neither. This one up top is really kind of the neither. This is kind of neither positive nor negative. It's not really well described by that. This is positive correlation, and this is negative. That tells you the direction. So the sign of the correlation alone tells you the direction. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Let's do that. We'll do that, Adela. Definitely. Tell me which one, and we'll do it. Does this make sense right here that we can look at the direction of the correlation by the sign of the correlation, and we can tell the strength? Now, form is going to be only one of two things. It's either linear, well, that's a good question right there, or nonlinear. So the form is either linear or nonlinear. So think about this. Which one of these is a non-linear correlation? Which one of these is a non-linear correlation? 1, 2, 3, or 4. Which of these might be best described as a non-linear correlation? Correlation 1, 2, 3, or 4. Which of those has a non-linear form to it? So which of those has a non-linear form to it? So we have strength, direction, form, and unusual features. Which of these has a non-linear form to it? 2, maybe a little bit. I would go more for 3. 3 has like a parabolic form to it. 3 looks a bit like a parabola. 2 a little bit. 3 has a parabolic. 2 is just very, very weak. No correlation. But 3 has a non-linear form to it. It's got a parabolic form. Does that make sense? It follows a parabola. Where these down here follow a linear form. They follow the line. And so that is a linear form I've drawn around right there, and that's a non-linear form. This one right here is kind of, you could say it's non-linear. It's just like no correlation. It's super weak. This one has some sort of relationship that's non-linear. Good trick question for the test. Like there is a relationship here. It's just non-linear. Correlation only measures the linear strength. Big note for the test. Last but not least, we have unusual features. And when we look at unusual features, we're just looking for what's in this. If you look at an unusual feature, which the correlation would no longer be 1 right here, correlation would get weaker. What do you think we're looking at when we look at unusual features in correlation? The correlation just got weaker due to that what if I put that point down there? So if you're looking at unusual features, that's probably just talking about what in the correlation. Things that are far away from the central tendency of the data, things that do not follow the trend, things that are what's. 50 points online right here. So we have strength, direction, form, unusual features, and these are things you want to put in your notes. And then this is going to help us answer a lot of the questions that we have on this quiz. So unusual features is probably just what's right here. That's a what right here. That is something that's far away from the majority of the data. That is a, might give it the answer. That is going to be an outlier. That's an outlier right there. It's far away from the trend in the data. So it doesn't follow the pattern that the other points follow. So that is an outlier right there. So great job. Outlier. Yep. That's an outlier from the data. And this is going to help us a lot with all these questions. I think we have the answers to a lot of these now. Strength, direction, form, unusual feature. Strength, direction, form, and shape is not one of them. Shape is only for univariate quantitative. So that is not how we describe bivariate quantitative. Shape is for univariate. The correlation coefficient is not affected by outliers. Ooh, do you remember what we just did right here? When I added this outlier, did I change the correlation? When I added this outlier, did I change the correlation? When I added that outlier, did I change the correlation? So think Brian he put in an outlier, and then did he change the correlation? So there's what we had, and then I put in the outlier, and what did I do? Like I said, this will give us a lot of the answers. So is correlation impacted by outliers? Is correlation impacted by outliers? So here's without the outlier, correlation of 1, perfect. And then we add in the outlier, and the correlation did what? So here once again is without the outlier. Do outliers impact correlation? And you're watching it right there. Like there's the outlier. You remove the outlier, which unless you have good reason you shouldn't do. But remove the outlier and the correlation is perfect. You add back in the outlier and the correlation goes. So just kind of letting people see right here, no outlier and outlier. So the answer is, do outliers, the correlation coefficient is not affected by outlier, true or false? So Tiffany, outliers do not affect correlation. What did you notice right there? Is this true or false? Correlation is not affected by outliers, true or false? Most definitely what? Correlation is not affected by outliers. True or false? Like true would be, yeah, it's not affected by outliers. False would be, oh, it is. It is definitely affected by outliers. So Adela, I'm throwing you 100 points. Thank you for being here. Thank you for answering. Don't worry. It is false. Don't worry. This is where we practice. This is what we do right here. That's excellent right there. Thank you so much. That's where you get the 100 points. Don't worry about being wrong. Don't worry. Take a shot at it. You got it. So you'll remember like, okay, wait. So if you look at what's happening right here, the correlation right here is perfect. It's a perfect 1. It goes up perfectly right here. You got it, Casey. We'll do that one. We got, I think Adela has a question. Then Casey's got it next. And then we go right here and look at this. The correlation gets weaker. Probably one of my favorite ways to do this, and I'll show you really quickly right here, is to go to core demo. If I show you a correlation right here that's super strong, does everyone see it? This perfectly follows a line. And the correlation is what? Put it in the chat right here. The correlation is what right here? Because it perfectly follows a line. And if I had the line go down, it'd just be changing the direction of it. So you see how now the correlation, I've almost got, there we go, -1. Can outliers make a weak correlation strong? Watch this. Here's a weak correlation. And then let's put an outlier. Did that make the weak correlation, which was 0.02, that's really weak. Did this outlier up here, Tiffany, make the weak correlation strong, yes or no? So here's the correlation, and here's an outlier. Did it make it a lot stronger? Stronger is closer to 1 or -1. Does adding this outlier way over here make it way stronger? So you can just see I'm changing. This is a super weak correlation here. It's a little stronger now. And then we add in the outlier and boom. You know what outliers can do? Yep. Outliers can do anything. Outliers can make weak correlation strong, strong correlation weak. The only thing they can't do is impact the median, really, because the median's impervious to it. A strong relationship can have a correlation equal to 0. Let's go back to our graphic. Is this relationship Brian drew up here at the top pretty strong? It's a parabola, though. Is this correlation or relationship, does it say, it says relationship, right? Better say association or relationship. A strong relationship, good, it better say that. Is this a very strong pattern? Does this follow a parabola really well, yes or no? Does this follow a parabola really well? Like, oh, if I had a new point in here somewhere, you could probably guess where the new point, if I said there's a point in here, you'd be like, oh, if there's a point there, it probably goes somewhere in here. Is this really strong? Like, is the relationship really tight around the form? Yes. And what's the correlation? 0. Why is the correlation 0? Because correlation only measures what form? Correlation only measures the linear form. So you only see strong correlations via the value of correlation when the form is linear. So if you have a nonlinear correlation, you could get or you have a nonlinear relationship, you could get a correlation of 0, like we see up here where the correlation is 0, but it's still a strong relationship. It's just not linearly correlated. So correlation is meant for the linear form, not meant for nonlinear forms where you will sometimes see a correlation of 0, even though there's a strong relationship. It's just that the strong relationship is not linear. Very good notes for this chapter. Like that's a tough test question. Strong relationship can have a correlation of 0. Yes, if it's nonlinear. To create a scatter plot, both variables must be QQ straight enough. No outliers. Quantitative variables. QQ is quantitative. Two quantitative variables make a scatter plot. We're going to go here and do a new question here in a moment. You can see the graphic right here for scatter plots is two quantitative variables. QQ straight enough. No outliers. Those are the condition. If the correlation of two variables is close to 0, this implies that no relationship exists between these two variables. This is a trick question again. It implies that the relationship, if it implies there's no linear relationship. Another double trick question we got right here. If the correlation is close to 0, this implies there's no linear relationship. So this is a false statement. Unless I've been tricked, we should do well, and we should get that 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, we got it. So we're going to do, I think Adela had a question right here. Adela, thank you so much. Let's hop back to the main screen and do another question. Then, or was it, I think Adela's question is first. Later on, could we do some of the chapter 5, quiz 1? A forester measured the trees. Let's go check out what that forester is doing. And then Casey, your question is next. Thank you everybody for being here. And great practice. It's just practice. You got to hear these concepts a few times. Can you do my question? You did not do it. Which one is yours again, Tiffany? Tiffany said, a p-value for correlation, which is statistically significant, implies the correlation is due to random chance, is unlikely due to random chance. So I'm going to put that would be a false statement. And p-values would be another talk. Thank you, Colin, right there. Is unlikely, low p-value, unlikely due to random chance. And let's go check out Colin. Always good to see you. 50 points random Colin appearing in the chat. Loading up the Forester question. I should play some soccer, Colin. I want to run a 5K. I used to run 5Ks all the time. 17:24, best 5K time back in the day. I'd love it to run a 18, 19 minute 5K. It is false because the correct statement is a low p-value would mean that your results were unlikely due to random chance. A high p-value would mean it's likely due to random chance. P-value is the probability of our results occurring by random chance, given the null is true. So if the p-value is low, then your results would be unlikely due to random chance. Forester question coming right up. Okay. Forester question up in just a second. There we go. And here we go. More big news. Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. Love hearing that. I think the biggest thing is you just got to keep trying. You just got to keep putting yourself out there and opportunities rise. Forester question, BS Stat 201. Forester question, Chapter 5, Part 1. Let's do this. So this is using the empirical rule right here, the 68, 95. Great job, Tiffany. Excellent work. Yeah, see? Psh, psh. See, look at that. You already done with that quiz. And then class is going to be a good review. So this is the empirical rule right here, which is the 68, 95, 99.7. 68% of areas between positive 1, negative 1. 95 is between positive 2, negative 2. 99.7 is between positive 3, negative 3. So we want to see that the mean is at the center and the standard deviation goes up by each unit. This one has the wrong mean. This one does not do the empirical rule in the correct order. So we want to choose this one right here, and this is our graphic. We're going to take and we're going to steal this graphic right here. So let's go ahead and steal this graphic. And we steal the graphic. And let's go over here to the main screen. And there we go. There's our graphic. And let's take a look. And so with this, where would you expect the middle 68% of trees to be at? The middle 68% of trees would be within plus or minus how many standard deviations? the middle 68% of trees would be within plus or minus how many standard deviations? This is something you want to practice drawing right here. You want to be able to go here and draw and put your mean at the center, because this is normally distributed. That's where the mean is at. And then the standard deviation is the distance as we go up each time. So the mean is at the center. And the standard deviation is the distances right here. So where would the middle 68% be? Nice job, Adela, right there. Amazing work. That's exactly right. Just going plus or minus 1 standard deviation. Perfect. Amazing answers. Plus or minus 1 standard deviation. That's worth another 100 points. That's exactly the answer you want to be putting down right there. Plus or minus 1 standard deviation. So we put that in, and we've done excellent on that question. That's the middle 68% is within plus or minus 1 standard deviation. Yeah, I think we got a few more, Tiffany, then we can start looking at that. You bet. About what percent of trees should have diameters below 6.1? So we need to go to where 6.1 is at. Okay, now here's where it gets a little difficult. Here's where we do our test. If 68% is on the inside, what is total on the outside? So first do total on the outside. 68% is on the inside, what is total? Because we're going to go below 6.1. And so we want to figure out this area right here. Yeah, Lisa, we can go back, check that out. You bet. So we want to figure out that area right there, because it says below 6.1. Tell me if I mix up an above or below. Problem 4, chapter 5. 24 seconds. What will be the median? Yeah, good little bit. Yeah, you're doing it perfectly, Adela. You're getting it, because 32% is the total. That puts 16 here, because we just divide it in half. And the answer is going to be 16%. Great job. I think sometimes just working through it, seeing it, you're like, I want to get you to right where you see it. Ooh, is a tough one. This is where you get tough with the little in-between parts. So this, we're going to leave our image up here. We're going to double check the question. 10.4 to 14.7. Actually, this one's not that bad. This one's not that bad, because when we shade it in, it's going to be a little more obvious on what the answer is. We are looking for this area right here. And drawing things out can be a huge help, because what do you notice about this area right here to 68? So we're looking for the yellow area, but I'm doing this to help you see what it is compared to 68. So what do you think you would do to find that yellow area? Drawing it out's a huge help. So when you're on the test, you want to do your drawings right here. And I think if you see this drawing, you can then figure out how much area is inside of here. Exactly, Adele. Yep. This is it. This is great job. You're getting it. Yeah, drawing it out is a huge help. It's half of 68, so it's 34. Yep, because it's symmetric right there, so we can cut it in half. Also, I did a drawing. Did we leave the other one up? We do have this one still up. That one's all right. Do I still have the other graphic? Here's the percentages labeled between each area. Take a screenshot of this if you want. Right here, I'm going to erase the bottom of it. But take a screenshot of this if you like. And this right here will be crazy numbers on the bottom. Take a screenshot of this. This is the percentages, and the 34 is half of 68. That's how that's obtained. We went through at the very end of class, and we're breaking down the curve into the numbers, but this can help with a lot of the numbers. We also did a little more detailed explanation of what the numbers are and did the above or belows. But you can break this down each time individually. You can draw this after the test start. You can't have this at the start of the test. I do suggest drawing stuff like that. So this is 34. And then what percent of trees should have diameters over 23.3? So over 23.3 is at a z-score of what? Ooh, that's a tiny, tiny, tiny portion. Can you tell me the z-score of 23.3 real quick? I'll give you hints. What is the z-score of 23.3? There's a hint. 23.3 has a z-score of 3. Casey, excellent work. Have z-score of 3, and that means outside of it is what total? outside of it, like outside of the z-score of +3 and -3 is what total? Because we want this. We're not so interested in this. So 99.7 is in the middle. And Casey got it. And Casey's divided in half, 0.3. You're going to take this and subtract it out of 100, and the remaining portion is 0.3. And you divide that in half because it has to go to both sides. And so the answer is the yellow portion is half of the remaining portion. So you're just leaving what is the remaining portion, subtracting it from 100, and obtaining 0.3. And then you divide that in half to both sides. So the answer is 0.15. As long as we didn't do any sort of math error or plot the wrong way, we should have this. Woo! Always a little bit afraid. I've definitely made errors. I made an error last time I did this one. I did a below instead of an above. And Casey's got the next question here. Thank you, Casey, for waiting in. Great work there, Casey. And Adela, does it make more sense? Does it make more sense on these questions? I hope. A lot of practice. And when you do them a few times, it's like, okay, I got this. And you get to the test, you're like, psh, psh, easy question. Without doing them multiple times. That makes so much sense. Awesome. Anytime, Adela. I appreciate it. Just keep practicing. You got this. Ask those questions, and it's easier when you can kind of see the steps, and you're doing great. Casey's question is, we're going to do Casey's, Elisa's, then we're going to swing back Tiffany's question here. Casey's question was, on the exam, we'll be asked something like, a question like, some IQ tests are standard normal by hand, or they have multiple choice. You will be given like, we could look at how an exam looks. Really the Canvas content. Let me do a Canvas content, because those are your best look at what the exam will look like. So we're going to do a harder Canvas content question. Chapter 5 Canvas content. So if you look at the Chapter 5 Canvas content, you're like, I have no idea how to do any of these. Uh-oh. That's bad news. If you look at the Chapter 5 Canvas content and you say, I got this, then you're good. So here we are, Chapter 5 Canvas content. This is what the exam looks like. Here we go. A 1992 journal article for yada yada says that people actually have a body temperature of 98.2 with a standard deviation of 0.7. Now, please note, this is the mean of the distribution. This is the standard deviation, which will be how much we go up and down each time by 0.7, and this is the mean at the center here. What percent of adults have a body temperature higher than 99.26? Now, on this graphic, you're actually seeing that the temperatures are being plotted outside of 97.14 and 99.26. We might do two questions because this one's the easier one, I think. This one's not so bad. Here's what you want to do. You want to go to your scratch sheet of paper. I've got copy paste, makes my life easier. And what you want to do is you want to label stuff. What we have right here is total 13%, above 99.26, and below 97.14. So think about this. We are interested in this area right here. It's hard to see it. Let me do red or something. We are interested in this area. So what is this area going to be? Who can kind of explain theoretically how to find this area right here? If we know the total area on the screen is 13%. What you'll find interesting about this is these portions are symmetric. If you were to find the z-score of these values, they are the same z-score, so they're a symmetric distance away from the mean. So those two chunks on the sides are the same size. What I mean here is if I were to take this and just go over here and go to shape and go to rotate and flip it like this and bring it over here, it's the same thing. So it's the same thing on the other side. So how could I figure out what this over here is worth? If it's the same thing on the other side, then what do you think I can do if we know both of these are 13? And that kind of gives away the question right here. So knowing that both of these together are 13%, then what would one of these be? Viz 4? Yes, I'll show that here in a second, Lindsay. I can show that one pretty quick after this one. I'll drop the video in the chat for you. Yep, Casey, you got it. And this is a decent test question right here. I'm going to drop this in the chat for the question right there. Thank you so much for dropping by to ask that question. I've got a really good way of doing that. So on the Macs, I'm going to send the visualization playlist right here. There's the add chart element. And so Lindsay right here, let me tag you Lindsay on this. Here, this video right here, it's 30 seconds. Shows how to add there's the plus icon. It'll be in the far left corner. Here, we're going to just see it real quick. I might as well just show it. I'll show it here on the YouTube channel. So here it is right here. On the Mac, you don't have the same options as the PC. You don't have the plus icon. You want to go over here to this right here. You need to make sure, here's the steps. Make sure you've clicked your graphic and then click design. So you need to have this graphic clicked. You need to click design, and then under design, you'll see the plus options over here. But you have to have the graphic clicked, and then you have to click the design tab. Ryan, you're talking over me, man. But does that make sense, Lindsay? So click the pivot chart, and then click the design, and then click the plus chart elements over here. Just for some reason, they didn't put the options over here on the Mac portion. But also check out the playlist. A lot of things, a lot of help. Sometimes like the next video might show up, but don't worry. I'm always happy. Past tier Brian. Assignment. So let's do this. Now I do that one live. Totally different effect. The other one was made in After Effects, and that one I'm doing live now. On the right axis, there should be an axis title thing. Here, I'll show it again. There should be axis titles. Send me a screenshot, maybe. Go to main screen here. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate that right there. I spent like 3 hours trying to make, maybe more than 3 hours. This one I made, that one took a bit of time. Just a quick update. You want to go over here to zoom in. It's gonna make it all tiny when I do that. You want to go where it says axis titles, and then inside of the axis menus, you'll go right there and do the axis titles right there. Does that make sense? It should add in an axis title. So if you're having issues, let me know or email me, Discord me, and I'll take a look after class here. I'll be replying to everything. Good stuff. Good stuff. Fun stuff too. I think we got that question right, didn't we? Go away. And let's see. If you have questions, let me know. I think we're doing another chapter 5 after this. So this one would be, I think, Chris. Great job, Chris, right there. Round as a percent. This one right here is really good too, though. This one's a tougher one. So right here we have another similar question. And now we see the middle 60%. And now what are these? Notice the curve and the way the curve looks, and it's telling you these values. What are those values? What are those values? I'm pausing here because I want you to figure out what these values are. When you have a curve with a mean of 0 and a standard deviation of 1, these values here are what's? Ah, yes. Great question, Stephanie. So these values here are z-scores. Great job, Casey, right there. These values here are z-scores. So this question, let's see what it wants us to do. We'll solve it. And I think we got a few more questions. Great job, everyone lining up questions. I love it. We're doing excellent. So we see right here, it says, what is the 80th percentile of body temperatures? This is where labeling your graphic comes into play. What percent of the curve is shaded here in the center? So I'm pausing here because this is where you have to know what you're doing. What percent of the curve is shaded on this graphic right here? What percent of the curve is shaded on this graphic right here? This is probably one of the toughest questions. If you get this question, if you follow along, you'll get some of the hardest questions on the normal curve, or I hope you will. So what percent of the curve is shaded here? You always have to be like, what am I looking at right here? What percent is shaded in? The middle 60, great answers, excellent work. So then what percent is above here and what percent is below here? Just tell me what one of these arrows is worth. What do you think I should put above one of those arrows? Remember, middle 60, this much outside, one of the arrows is worth this amount. Close to Della. I'll let Della, everyone, 100 points. Great answers. This is the middle 60, just because it's defined to be, which is a little bit less than the middle 68%. Mark, good to see you here. We should do it. We got it, Mark. We'll definitely do that one. You got it. Oh, and I think we were doing the Forrester one earlier on. So Mark, rewind just a little bit if you want. We'll swing back and do the Forrester if we have time at the end. We did it as the first question. So if you go to the very start, you'll see me doing the Forrester stuff. But we will try to swing back though. So what is one of those arrows worth right here? I think, Peel already said it. I missed it. I'm not paying attention. Is worth 20%. So tell me, what is this right here? This spot right here is the what? So if you were to add up these percentages right here, that spot right there, you're welcome, Mark. Excellent work. And we will try to swing back. It's a good question. We did check it out. We were doing it. So that spot right there is the what? That spot right there is the what? If you add up the percentages, you're at the what percentile right there. If you go and you add up all the data up to that spot, you've added up to what percent of the data? You've gone through what percent of the data? The 80th percentile. Great job right there, Chris. Everybody, Chris earned everyone some 50 points. Great job. Practice, practice, practice. So the 80th percentile. Wait a minute. I think we're finding something out we need right here. So with this question now, we want to find out what the 80th percentile is. What do we know right now of the 80th percentile? What do we know of the 80th percentile right now? We know the what of the 80th percentile. What do we know of the 80th percentile? We know it's what right now? We know the what of the 80th percentile. We know it's this. You can put in one letter in the chat. Right now, because this is the standard normal curve, we know the blank for the 80th percentile. We know, and that's the z-score, right? So that means that the value is, it's close to one standard deviation. Great answer there, Mark. Mark, you're so close. Mark, your answer is really close. It's a little bit less than one standard deviation above the mean, which kind of gives us some insight. Mark, that's a great answer, earning everyone some points. Don't worry if you're wrong. You're really close to the right answer. It's a little bit less than one standard deviation, though. It's 0.842 standard deviations. So let's take the mean. The mean is 98.2, and then we're going to add to it 0.842's watts. We're going to add to it 0.842's watts. We're going to add to it 0.842 watts to it. So this is the mean plus 0.842, because I'm going up this many watts from the mean. I'm literally going to the mean right here. Here's where the mean is at, and I'm going up 0.842 watts. So I'm going to the mean, and I'm going up 0.842, because that's what a z-score is. It's how many watts something is, standard deviations. So this is a standard deviation. I'm going up 0.842 standard deviations, and that's going to bring us to the 80th percentile. So this is just, once again, the z-score is how many standard deviations something is above or below the mean. So since it's a positive z-score, great job there, Chris and Casey. We're going to go and times this out right here. There we go. 0.7. Make sure I did that correctly. I hit a wrong button for a moment. And there we go right there. And then we add that to the mean. And this should be right there. That should be correct. If you look, it's a little bit less than one standard deviation. One standard deviation would be 98.9, and we're a little bit less than one standard deviation. That's what I want to hear, that it makes a lot more sense. These are tougher problems. So I do understand if people get stuck on those problems. I think whose question was next? Let's go back to the main screen. Thank you so much, everybody. Amazing work today. Hey, Kayla. So good to see you, Kayla. Doing well. Crazy meeting. But doing well. Lots of work. Doing well. Doing great. Let's listen to the fun music right here. Kayla, so good to see you. We're about to start some real time series today in time series. We're starting the forecasting principles and processes, starting chapter 1 of the book. Real deal time series starting up. So let's see right here. Can you do a problem 4 on chapter 5 quiz? Will the median and IQ on the length of hotline calls become? Okay. Chapter 4, day 1 of it. Oh, how'd it go? Can you tell me how it's going or anything? Congratulations, Kayla. Amazing work. The skills that we taught in a class, I got contacted by a former student who said, do you have anyone who has skills in Shiny? And I was like, I got a group of students who can interview for you. I didn't teach Shiny knowing that we'd have someone reach out very soon asking us for people with those skill sets. But I try to, especially in the upper level classes, create skills. That's my goal, is to help out people with what they're doing and to help grow them with their knowledge and their skill sets. It went well, mostly intro and setup stuff. Awesome. Well, you're going to I am sure they will value your innovation and your skill set. I'm hoping we can get some of our ideas off the ground. I'm hoping we can, because there's so many cool things. Let's see, what was it again? It was the Lisa's question. Lisa's question was, this is why I need to make the thing that tracks the questions. The hotline question. Okay, the hotlines. Zoom meeting tomorrow in the data cleaning. Oh, it's always data cleaning. What day is not data cleaning? Here we go with the hotline question. Step 1. Cleaning data every day. That's what we do. There's a lot of data cleaning. Data cleaning is like first step before any real data analysis is done. Sorry, oh, no, you're fine, Eliza. Thank you for hanging out here. This is a really great question. Pretty tricky one, too. Pretty tricky one. I keep falling off my chair. I don't know if my chair is weird, or I just don't know how to sit in a chair. The new median. So let's look at this. We got a hotline center right here taking calls. The average time is 4.1 minutes with a IQR, which is a middle 50% of 2.2. Random question for you, Hasm folks. Does anyone know where the Milton collaboration space is located? I'm 99% certain it's in the business analytics department, second floor of Stokely Management Center. So second floor SMC, which is connected to Haslam. That's connected to Haslam right there. So go up to the second floor of the SMC and tell them I'm one of Brian's students. Kayla, be like, I'm one of Brian's students. It makes me smile because I got the best students. Anytime you go there, be like, I'm one of Brian's students. You're all, I don't know, if you're a business analyst student, you're everyone's student, but I'm proud of my students. I don't know. Over the years. There should be double if you go up there and you see a nice lady, Janice. Janice, I've worked with Janice for a long time. Saw your empty office. I really want to turn that into a collaboration space. Still got like my stuff in there. So yeah. Well, world needs to be a little more normal. I was gonna fly in and then world exploded. But I believe it's up there. I believe it's on the second floor, Kayla. And feel free to ask anybody. Charlie Quick, he's over there. If you see someone, Janice is who I got my shirt from yesterday. Yeah, Janice is awesome. And tell her, be like, Brian Stevens says hi. And she'll say like, what's that boy doing? She'll be like, I've known Janice for 14 years, 15 years. I believe it's on the second floor. I haven't been there yet. Okay, let's get serious on this question. You ready? I'll put up a thing. Time to get serious on this question. I'm pretty sure it's on the second floor. I know flying is a little risk event, and I'm risk averse. So right here we have a time of 4.1 with an IQR of 2.2. I was literally gonna fly. I literally was buying plane tickets, and then the world caught on fire. I'm hearing noises. World caught on fire. July was such a good month, or June, July, and then I was like, the world's stupid again. 4.1 is the median, and IQR is 2.2. If the company wants to determine the time in seconds, what would we do right here to these times? So what are we going to do to these times to put it to seconds? To put these to seconds, what are we going to do to these times? To convert these to seconds, what will we do to them? You're welcome, Kayla. Good luck. Have a great time. If we convert these to seconds, what can we do to them? Let's convert them to seconds. So we want to take these. Boom. All these are right there. Great job. You are correct. Multiply them by 60. So let's just take the times that exist and go to 4.1 and multiply by 60. And there we go, 246. And then let's go right here to 2.2, multiply by 60, and we got it right there. You're exactly right. And then here's the tricky one. In an effort to speed up the process, they cut 18 seconds off of all the calls, which awesome. Great job. Process sped up. Here's what it's going to look like is they have a distribution of times, and then they're going to shift the distribution over by 18 seconds. I am now changing the what of the distribution. So it could have been, we were at, I think it's 246 or something. We're at 246 is the center. And then they're cutting off 18 seconds, is it? Have you done the Viz4? I've got a really good video on Viz4 here. I'll put it in here in the chat here in a second, Luke. So what are they moving about this distribution by making the calls faster? What are they moving about this distribution by making the call faster? By making the call faster, what are they changing? What is changing about this distribution? By making the calls faster, what are they changing about this distribution? You're welcome, Luke. What are they changing about this distribution by making the call faster? Remember, the shape, center, spread. The median, you are correct, and the median is on the mean. So they're changing the center of the distribution. So this is a shift, and I drew it out. I think it's 248 or 246. Just check your numbers before entering them in. It's 246. So they're making it faster by 18 seconds. So you'd go to 246, subtract 18 seconds, and that's the new center. But what has not changed about this distribution? The distribution still has the same spread. Changing the spread would change it like this. This is changing the spread of it because it's less spread out. We're not changing the spread. We're just shifting the center. We're making it faster. Does that make sense, Aliza? So it's still going to have the same spread of it. We're just making it faster, so it's shifted over to a faster time. We're cutting time off of everything, but it still has the same spread to it. If you notice, moving it this way, making it faster, doesn't change the way in which the distribution is spread out. This would change the standard deviation or spread of the distribution. So once again, we are speeding it up, but not changing the spread. Great job, and that's the answer to that one. Excellent work. So we should get 100. Yes, we love those hundreds. Luke, we got your question right here. Luke says, do we have some videos? We got videos. We got videos. Yes, we do. Let's go grab the visualization video. So probably the best visualization video. I think the concise ones are some of the best ones. This got 4,000 views. 4,000 views. So Viz 4, I really think this is one of your best go-to videos for it. I've also got the pivot chart playlist. So checking that out is good help. But they follow pretty much the same pattern. So the Viz 4 is in the playlist, I'd say. Really good help with Viz 4 right there, and good stuff. And let me know if you're stuck on anything. If you're like, hey, Brian, this won't work. Had someone swing by earlier, and we got their problem fixed up on the Viz 4. Amazing work. Great job. Just swinging by, jumping in with a question. If it's really quick, I usually throw that in there. And let me know, Luke, if you're stuck on anything. I think we have a few more questions, right? Because we've got questions. I know Tiffany has one, and I think Mark had one, but I think Mark's looking at the video in the back, or the previous one. Tiffany has one, and was there one more before Tiffany's? Just making sure. Looking back at the questions. We did Adela's. I think it's Tiffany's. Tiffany says, a study examined brain size, measured as pixels, counted as digitized magnetic resonance images, MRIs, of a cross-section of the brain and IQ, 4-point scales on the Walsher IQ test. Continue for college students. The scatter plot to the right shows the performance of IQ versus brain scan. Describe the association of brain size and IQ. I've seen the scatter plot. Which assignment is this on again, Tiffany? I know it's chapter 6. Which one is that, Tiffany? Is that the Canvas content? Or is that the quiz? I'll wait here a second, Tiffany. Mark, great, Mark, 100 points. I appreciate that, Mark. That's why I was trying to... Is it chapter 6 quiz? Okay. Mark, those 100 points go out to you, Mark. That's excellent work there, Mark. Appreciate everyone being so positive. I feel so bad when I'm like, oh, we did that one. Everyone's like, oh, cool. I'll go check it out. Because then you can just like skim through the video. If I'm like, oh, it's right here at the beginning. You're like, oh yeah, I got this. I can go in, check out a video. So much positivity for everyone right there. Getting the points. Chapter 6 quiz. A little more chill music right here. I'm just antsy today. I want to go run around and play some Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go! Need that shiny... What is it? Lugia. Don't have one yet. As soon as I get a shiny whatever, I get very depressed because I'm like, I don't need it anymore. Just got another shiny Murkrow. Which I'm kind of bummed. I already have like 3 or 4 shiny Murkrows. I got that shiny Murkrow and I was like, come on. Give me a shiny I don't have. Awesome, Mark. 50 points helping everyone out with the chat right there. Thank you so much. Appreciate you putting the timestamp right there. I need to go back and timestamp my own videos. Woo! A lot of timestamping videos. That's what I do most of my life. Half of my life is spent timestamping videos. Let's go look at this IQ test thing. Here we go. Let's go look at IQ tests and brain size, chapter 6 quiz, stat 201. A study examined the brain size, yada yada, measured in pixels, and they're looking at IQ. Now, we talked about correlation a little bit earlier, but you're going to hear me say something in class a lot. If we have a 32474 student in here, they better know QQ straight enough, no outliers. And as soon as I'm back on campus, I'm going to be getting in trouble again, having everyone in Haslam yell out, QQ straight enough, no outliers, QQ straight enough, no outliers. I will yell it out louder than them. I lose my voice every semester doing that. But is this QQ? Are there two quantitative variables? Brain size looks to be in quantitative, which is a quantitative variable. So it's a numeric measure of brain size. This IQ score looks to be quantitative. So we see IQ scores are quantitative and quantitative. That's good right there. Nice job, Christine Vossler. Oh, Christine Vossler. Tell Christine Vossler I say hey too. Just tell everyone. Just walk up to someone and be like, Brian says hey. Christine Vossler is absolutely awesome too. Is this straight enough? Ooh, straight enough means it's well described by a straight line. So when we look at QQ, straight enough, no outliers. Two quantitative variables, yes. It's two quantitative variables. Straight enough, I see an issue right there. No outliers, we're probably good on that. So I did not see anything in Office or QL yesterday. I guess, yeah. So this one looks to have a straight enough problem. Oh man, this one's tough. Okay, let's see right here. There's a fairly strong, I wouldn't call that strong. It is a little bit curved. I don't think there's any outliers. There's a moderately weak positive straight association. I don't know if that's straight. I think I've eliminated these two. There's a moderately weak negative. No, it's not negative. It doesn't go down. This one's gone. We're just between this one and this one. There's a very weak or possibly no association between the variables. I don't think it's very weak. I think it's weakish. I don't like this as straight. Drawing back over it again, it looks something like this. It's a little nonlinear in my opinion. So I'm going with this. Oh, not today, my... I'm about to like redraw this graphic and take a look. Not today, my Pearson. My Pearson, you're not going to win this one out on me. Not today, my Pearson. Not today. What do you say? Does my drawing look at all like it? What do you say? Do we have something that looks similar to it? Maybe not the best drawing in the world, but I'm thinking that looks like decent-ish like it. I'm thinking that looks something like this right here. Something like it. And that correlation is 0.35. I would not call that non-existent. It's pretty weak, moderately weak. I'd say it's moderately weak. So we My Pearson tricking us. This is a very weak or possibly no association. I didn't like the straight part of it. I should have said no to that because I did say it's nonlinear. There's a bit of nonlinearity to that. It's a pretty weak nonlinear correlation, and I'd probably put it towards the 0.2 or 0.3 range, which we are seeing right here. I'm about to like literally trace over that. I think I did a decent job of it, of recreating it of sorts. Went quicker towards the end, but that's something like that, and we are getting a correlation of 0.35 on this. So I'd say not today, my Pearson. Not today. Not today, my Pearson. Don't do that. What questions are there? What questions are there? Your time for questions. If you have questions, let me know. It is open questions here on Stat 201. Let's see. Time series coming up here soon. Stat 201 meeting tonight. Is today the event? I don't get to do all the fun things. Good to see you here, Roger. Let's throw some points out. If you have questions, let me know. Oh, wait, Tiffany said, that one's difficult because my graph is a little different than yours too. I think it's the same, Tiffany. I think it's the same. Sorry, Tiffany, I missed that. I think it's the same, Tiffany. I think your answer will be the same. If you feel it's unfair, tell me. Especially if you're here during office hours and I do something and you do something, you feel something's unfair, just be like, hey, Ryan. Linda says, in lab for 474, when you say round to the nearest percent, that is like 2, right? Yeah, I changed the question a little bit. So, Linda, great question. You want to put if it's like it's telling you how much dollars. So if you were to see this, what would you round that to? Here are some scatter plots. Calculate the correlations. Yeah, I love that one. That was a fun one. So, Linda, what would you round that to right there? Be careful. What would you round that to right there? If you saw that, remember, it's telling you how much you want to tip. So, Linda, what would you round that to right there? If that was your answer, then what would you round that to? Like, let's say that's your output, then what would you round that to right there? So your output comes back 3.43543235. So what would you round that to right there? Let's think about that, and let's... Not today, my Pearson. Oops. That is correct, Linda. Great job, Linda. Some points out there in the chat. You are correct, Linda. That's what we would round that to. And I'm fixing my screen right here. Let's go look at some plots with some correlation. One of my favorite questions. This one we got. Here we are with plots for correlation. Let's go take a look at them. Here we go. Chapter 6, correlation plots for Stat 201. You're welcome, Linda. Excellent work. So what we need to understand is that correlation ranges between what and what values. The smallest correlation can be is what? What is the smallest possible value of correlation? Like the lowest, not the weakest, but the lowest value of correlation is what? The lowest value of correlation is what? What is the lowest possible value? Like in terms of numbers, the lowest. Like as you go smaller numbers, what is the lowest? Not the weakest, because that's a different term. The lowest value of correlation could be what? The lowest value of correlation, the very lowest number it can be is as low as what? I'll bring up our help screen we did earlier, and we've got a little bit of help right here on the screen. The lowest value of correlation possible is what? Go to review for all classes. The lowest possible value of correlation is what? What's up, Cliff? The lowest possible value of correlation will be -1. So for our graph, it might be something close to that. The lowest possible is -1 when it's perfect negative linear. So -1 is the lowest. 0 is the weakest. And this is for linear strength. So 0 is the weakest, but -1 is the lowest, and +1 is the highest. The closer it is to -1 or +1, the stronger it is. So what do you notice right here? This is a very strong negative correlation. That is, graph C is a very strong negative correlation. Do you see any other negative correlations here? A, B, C, or D? What is another negative correlation where the graph generally goes down? So what is another negative correlation on the screen? What is another negative correlation? A, B, C, or D? Well, we already did C. What's another negative correlation on the screen? Do we see any other negative correlations where the graph generally goes down? This is a good process of elimination. A actually doesn't have any real, it's kind of neither. A doesn't really go up or down. It goes up, then it goes down. So A is kind of a neither. 50 points right there, Tiffany. Good try. Good try right there. A is kind of a neither. D, even though it might be hard to tell, kind of goes down still. It's not super strong, but it goes down. So D is going to have the other negative correlation right here because it goes down. As in, if you were to take a line and plot it through these, you'll notice that you can't really draw a line up or down through this one. This one obviously goes down. This one goes up, and this one goes down. It's not as strong as the others, but it still goes downward. And since this B goes upwards, it's going to be the stronger correlation with the positive because it's stronger than this. It's tighter. It's closer to 1 than this is to -1. Now, this one right here, does A have any sort of relationship? Does A have a relationship, true or false? This is a good test question. Does A have a relationship? Its correlation is basically 0. Does A have a relationship, yes or no? Does A have a relationship, yes or no? Its correlation is super close to 0. Don't worry if you get it wrong. Does A have a relationship? Good test question here. 2 of the Canvas content quiz. Well, so it does kind of go almost even, right? It has a very strong relationship. It's just that the relationship is not what, Tiffany? Let's go back to our cheat sheet. Its relationship is just not what. So look at the words on this slide. This graphic up here, which is kind of like ours, has a relationship that is just not what. It's not a what type of relationship, which what correlation measures. Correlation only measures this sort of relationship. This does have a relationship, but it's not what. So it has a great relationship. It's very strong, nonlinear right there, 100 points, Tiffany. So this is a very strong relationship, but the correlation comes back close to 0 because it only measures linear relationships. So we should get this one right, and we'll do the other version of it. Another version right here, I believe. This one's really good too. If you notice, some of these are linear and some of these are not linear. But let me ask you this one. Which one of these is the weakest relationship? A, B, C, or D? Which one of these is the weakest? So A, B, C, or D, which is the weakest? This one's a little trickier, but which one of these is the weakest? A, B, C, or D? I'm going to ask a follow-up after this too. So which of these is the weakest? A is the most negative. So A will have the lowest correlation because it's the most negative. Weakest means that it's closest to what value? A weak correlation will have a value of correlation that is closer to what value? So a weak correlation, which you see in the middle right there, a weak correlation will have a value of correlation that's closer to what? So the weakest correlation is in the middle of this. It's the one in the middle, not this. This is a very strong correlation. So closest to 0, exactly. So you got it, Tiffany. So which one of these has the correlation closest to 0, which is the weakest? The one that has the weakest correlation that's closest to 0. So we got this one's very close to 0. So which one of these, A, B, or C, or D, has closest to 0 correlation? The weakest. So it should look like a 0 if you were to circle around it. And one way to do this, I'll show the trick right here. A student taught me this, Miranda, years ago, gosh, like a decade ago. Taught me if you circle around it and it looks more like a 1, it's closer to 1. And if you circle around it and it looks more like a 0, it's closer to 0. The answer is C. C has the weakest correlation. Apparently it's a little bit negative, but it's just super weak. Now, which of these is the only negative correlation? Like truly negative. I know that one's negative, but which one's actually a real negative correlation? A, B, C, or D is the true negative correlation where there's actually some negative correlation going on right here. A, B, C, or D has a actual negative relationship where it's actually somewhat strong. So A, B, C, or D has an actual, yep, A. Great job, Tiffany. Which of these is the strongest positive? And the way to tell if it's strongest positive is it's tighter. And the way I drew this right here gives away the answer for whether it's B or D is the strongest positive. This one's tough. Which one of these is the strongest positive? And by drawing this here, I've given away if it's B or D by showing how tight it is. The tighter it is and the closer it is to a 1, the closer it is to a 1, which is the strongest relationship. So which of these is the strongest positive relationship? D is the strongest positive, and probably because of the non-linearity, the little bit of non-linearity right there, that's weaker. So D is the strongest positive, meaning it's the closest to 1. And B right there is a little bit weaker. It's still pretty strong. The closer it is to 1, the stronger it is. So it's just a little bit weaker right there, and we should get another 100. And I think there's one more version of this, so we'll do the last version. Good stuff right here. Which one of these is the weakest, A, B, C, or D? Be very careful. This is a good review trick question. Which one of these is the weakest, A, B, C, or D? It's a good review question right here. Remember, things can be weak if they're not linear. Correlation only measures linear strength, so this is a good trick question. Probably the hardest one here is to identify the weakest correlation, and this one's due because of its nonlinear relationship. So the weakest correlation here actually is an association that is strong, but does not have any linear strength, which means it doesn't have a linear relationship. It means a line does not well describe it. So the weakest linear here would be what? And I'll do the remaining ones. Great work, Tiffany. A is the weakest. Great job. And we're reviewing right now. Then we see here this is the strongest positive. So we go to the strongest positive. This is the strongest negative. We go to the strongest negative right here. And this is a weaker negative. It still is some sort of relationship. See, this kind of looks like that graphic we did earlier. Just saying, not so weak, sort of moderate weak. And that's some really good stuff right there. Hopefully it's making more sense how to judge the correlation, whether it's close to 0, 1, or -1, to tell the strength and the direction of it. Can we just problem which of the scatter plots to show no association? Yeah, that was a good one. That's a tricky one. We can't get 2 questions wrong today. Ooh, I've maybe missed one of those. That's a tricky one. Correlation showing which of these graphics show. That's a good tough one. Here we go. Let's do it. This is one of the good ones. I've maybe missed this in the past, but not today. Oh, look at this. We got such a good version of this. So which of these scatter plots show no association? Now, there's many versions of this. I'll try to do 2 versions. Let's describe all these. Here's the best thing you can probably do is go up here and describe these. This right here is positive. These are all the directions. I'm putting the directions. This is moderate, strong. The tighter it is, the stronger it is. And this is very strong. This is very strong. So this is strong. This is strong. It's actually the strongest. The tighter it is, the stronger it is. I got an interesting one. I don't know if I've seen this one lately. So which of these scatter plots show no association? They all show some association. None of the scatter plots. Which of them show a negative? They're all positive. Remember? They're all positive. So none of the scatter plots. Which scatter plots show a linear association? We're asking, does a line well describe the data? And although that one spreads out a little bit more, the line well describes all these data. Better not say that that last one's nonlinear. So all of these scatter plots show a linear relationship. Which scatter plots show a weak or moderate strong association? Now, do remember for that first one, we said the first one is moderate strong. And so we got that right there. Good to see you here, Taylor. Let's throw some 50 points Taylor's way. So we see right here, the first one I would say is moderate strong. Ooh, don't be changing my answers on me. That was weird the way I clicked. Which scatter plots show a very, and I wish it just said very strong. This is confusing because all it's trying to say is which of these show a very strong. It's trying to say like, not just kind of strong, but a very strong association. Definitely scatter plots 2 and 3. You better tell me I got that 100. Boom, got that 100. So I think one of the best ways to do this problem is to go through here and, this is going to change it up. To change it up. Cool. Is to start by labeling your graphics. Now, this one right here is like no association. That's just nothing. It's nothing, no association, no linearity, no nothing to it. This one right here is non-linear. It's still strong, but it's non-linear. Correlation for this one is going to be equal to 0. That's R right there. R is the value of correlation. This one here is moderately positive strong. So that's the width of those bands I'm drawing is the strength. The tighter it is around it, the stronger it is. This one's super weak. So this right here is moderate. It's not super strong. And it's linear. And it's moderate linear. So which of these show no association? It's definitely only graphic 1. Graphic 2 shows an association that's not linear. So that's a good trick right there. Which scatter plot shows a negative association? None of them show a negative association because none of them go downward. None of them particularly do that. Which scatter plots show a linear association? It's only graphic 3. Only graphic 3 is well described by a line. Graphic 1 is just nothing. It just doesn't have any sort of thing. What scatter plot shows a weak or moderately strong? This is where I'm scared, is I'm going to put 3. Which scatter plot shows a very... This is a scary one right here. This is why I hate this question at times. It does look tight enough. Don't fail me now, my Pearson. That's a tough one. This one's a little bit tighter. That's so iffy. The wording on that, I did call it strong. The tightness of this one is tighter around its form. The tightness of these bands are... No, it's correlation close to 0. Correlation close to 0 would be very, very what, Tiffany? You got this. Correlation close to 0 would be very, very what? I'm doing one version of this one. A correlation close to 0 would be very, very what? And then correlation is unitless, so changing the correlation would be do nothing. I can do that one here in a moment if you want. Correlation is unitless, so it doesn't matter if we change it because it's based on z-scores, which are unitless also. So a correlation close to 0 would be very, very, very what? It would show kind of a either nonlinear or weak association. But no, I think we did this one enough right here. It's a good, tricky one. They can mix it up in a lot of ways and kind of ask really sort of specific things. I've done it enough that I'm usually good enough not to be caught by any of their tricks. But that's probably one of the trickier ones. I'd say this is one of the tougher ones. It looks easy because it's multiple choice, but you have to be very careful in how you describe it. I wish you could share my screen with you like on Zoom, but once I click insert on Excel for Vis4 to make the pivot tables, there's no option for pivot table. Are you over on the Discord, Luke? Are you on the Discord? If you're on the Discord, it's super quick. You can message me on Discord, and on Discord, we can share super quick. Are you on the Discord, Luke? I might hop there and do that real quick. Like, I might go to the main screen. And I'll just have the audio muted. Go to main screen. Music! Are you ever on the Discord? Discord makes life super easy. Computer Wi-Fi just went out. No! If you're on the Discord, message me on the Discord. We can do it super quick. Are you on the Discord? Are you on the Statuan Discord? Then you can just message me and screen share there pretty quickly. Awesome. Message me on the Discord real quick. I'll take a look. Do you mind if we talk on this real quick? I'll mute your audio probably. You guys are probably going to stop hearing my nice music right here. So as long as you don't mind me talking on the stream with you, you're going to stop hearing the music probably right now. Yep, you can't hear the music, but I can. So message me over there, Luke. And give me a quick message. I'm looking to see if I see your message, Luke. And then we'll screen share there real quick. We'll take a look, and I'll talk to you on that. And I'll probably stop the music here in a second. They'll take a look at Tiffany's question. Tell me when you've messaged me, Luke, and then tell me in the chat, and then probably mute the audio to the stream because you'll hear me through. As long as you don't mind me talking to you, and you don't have to be on your mic if you don't want, because remember, this is broadcast, your call, but just message me on Discord. And have you messaged me? Seeing messages. Just did? Okay. I don't see it, Luke. What's your name on... Wait. You might have put it in, like, the chat. Oh, I see you. Gotcha. Hello. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to start a call with you. Is that okay, Luke? You don't have to have your audio going, but... So you don't need your audio going, because if you don't mind talking on stream, but... So I just said hello to you. I messaged you. I'm going to start a call. Is that okay, Luke? And I won't share your screen. I'll just explain what to do from here. So as long as you accept the call if you want, and make sure to stop the audio, because you'll hear me talking in the background then. Okay, Luke. Yeah, no need to share audio if you want, but go over here and go to share your screen. So there should be a share your screen button. I'll put it in the chat so you can see it. There is a share your screen button, and I'll circle it. I'm drawing around it. Okay. So there should be a share your screen button I've shown. So you want to click that and go to share screen, and then I'll kind of see what's going on right here if you just replicate the process and go ahead and give that a shot right there. There we go. And so, okay, awesome. And then I should be watching. Okay, cool. I think you're in Excel Online. I think that's the issue. So I think you are in Excel Online. That looks to be the issue. And so you'll want to go to, so this is great job, Luke. Don't worry, start early. What you want to do, and I'll drop this in the chat for you right here, is you want to go to Outlook UTK, and you want to download Excel to your computer. And I've just seen a few people ran into this problem that they can't make it. So you want to go to your Outlook login. I'm going to drop the call real quick. And you want to download Excel for the PC or the Mac. You're on a Mac, it looks like. But Excel Online doesn't have the pivot chart options. And that's why I always say start early. And you did great because people are going to message me at 11 p.m. at night tonight. And, and then it's like, the graphic won't get made or it'll be a little late. But great job, Luke. Does that make sense? Go to UT Outlook, and it's 100% free to download. So you should have it right there. Let me know if you have any issues, Luke. And thank you so much. And that's why I love Discourse. It's like, hey, hop on this call, and we got it. For Viz4, doesn't matter which... Either which way. Saw the question right there. Awesome. I love it. I love all the... Could you help me navigate this problem? Oh, we did, and we did the steerways. Is that the one we did today? Is it similar? Oh, Adela is asking a question in the chat right there. Help me navigate this problem. Is similar to the one you did in office hours, but the changes... yes, I think so, right? Yes. The company plans to include a sales flyer weight 5 ounces. So let me reply to Adela right here. Part A will shift the center. Only the median changes. And then what's the next one say? Shipping weights of the package included in pounds instead of ounces, including the flyer. Part B changes by 1 pound to 16 ounces for all. Yep, Parker's got it right there. Parker, thank you so much. Parker, if you're watching this stream right now, I'm giving you shout outs. Giving you shout outs live on YouTube. Parker's been a huge help on every channel. Parker, thank you so much. I truly mean it. Like sometimes I go in after replying to emails and replying to DMs on Discord, and I see Parker's been for 320, I believe, just doing a great job. It should have a download. I see Alexander has a question right here. It has a download option, Luke. It has like download Office. If you can't find it, let me know. But Luke, look for the download Office. I'm working on the content quiz for chapter 5. I was wondering how you would calculate a percentile of a normal distribution. Percentile, which question are you working on? Yeah, Parker's awesome. Could you help me on the quiz chapter 5? Which one is that, Emery? We got time for just a little bit more. We got 10 more minutes. Alexander and Emery, feel free to put your question in the chat. Which one are you specifically working on? The quiz 5 chapter, oh my gosh. They'll change around the questions, so they're always in a different order. So feel free to place part of the question, Emery and Alexander. Whichever question goes in here first, we will do, and we probably got time at least for that. So put your question in the chat, whichever one you want, and we will do that, whichever question you have. Let me put my audio back on. Parker, you want to say hey on stream? I'll see if Parker wants to say hi. Emery and Alexander, put your question in the chat if you want. I'll see what Parker says. He's probably like, I'm good. In 1992, in the Journal of American Medical Research reported that a more accurate measure of body temperature, yeah, let's go take a look at it. It was calculating the 80th percentile. We did this one earlier. So here we'll look at our review for it. So Parker says right there. We have a review of this one earlier. We do a full walkthrough a little bit earlier on. Oh, that's Parker in the chat right there. Yeah, you got the dog, Parker. Oh, you want to say? Oh, you say hi in the. I love it. 100 points, Parker, just helping everyone out right there. So we went through this one a little bit earlier, step by step by step. We might try to do the other one. I teach in 23 minutes. Woo! So this one right here gives these z-scores, and then it's important to mark down everything on the distribution. So we did a full walkthrough of this one earlier, going through showing how to plot the numbers on the curve, and then figure out that there's 20% outside of 60%, and that makes this the 80th percentile right here. Now that we know the z-score right here, we can take the z-score of 0.842, which is how many standard deviations something is above or below the mean, and turn this into the value. So this is the answer down here, and we have a full walkthrough. We might do the, can you please cover the question? Yeah, I think Tiffany's got a question we haven't done yet. So let me do Tiffany's question, and then we'll try to do Emery's. I'm not even here anymore. Let's do Tiffany's question, then we'll try to do Emery's. Tiffany's question was, give me 2 seconds here, Tiffany. Tiffany's question was chapter 6, I think. And we'll kind of speed run these. So, oh, Alexander, Alexander, thank you so much. I know I'm speed running stuff right now. Oh my gosh, Microsoft. Really? I'm about to delete Microsoft Edge off this computer. All right, Tiffany's question was, I'm gonna try to speed run this, Tiffany. Sorry if this is a little quick. If we assume the conditions are met for correlation, okay. 2 seconds finding this. We're in a little bit of speed run mode because we've got 7 minutes. All right, here we go. Let's do some chapter 6, stat 201. If we can assume the conditions for correlation are met, QQ straight enough, no outliers. Those are the conditions. 2 quantitative variables, straight enough relationship, no outliers. Which of the following is true? If false, explain briefly why it's false. A correlation of negative 0.98 indicates a strong negative association. That is so very true. The negative is the direction, and the 0.98 is the strength. So this is strong because it's close to -1, and negative because it's negative. Multiplying every value by 2 doubles the correlation. Well, if you have a correlation of 1, that would mean you'd have a correlation of 2. And correlation can only be between 1 and -1. So you can't multiply every value by 2 and get a stronger correlation of 2. It would not change it. Correlation is unitless. The statement is false. It would not change the correlation. If you scale or change correlation, it would not change it. The units of correlation are the same as unit of y. No, this is false. Correlation is unitless. It comes from z-scores. Does that make sense there, Tiffany? Correlation is unitless. One way of calculating it is from z-scores, which is a standardized metric which has no units. So since the z-scores are unitless, that's hard to say. Since z-scores are unitless, correlation is unitless. So it's derived from a unitless property. And so something derived from something without units would thus also have no units. And thus, z-scores are just a standardized metric. So if we start changing and multiplying values, it's not like height and weight are more correlated when you change the way you measure height and weight. Standardizing the variables make the correlation 0. Standardizing turns them into z-scores, and it would do what? What would it do to it, Tiffany? We'll hop to the main screen. Standardizing the values would do what to correlation? So correlation is unitless, and standardizing the values would do absolutely what to correlation? Because we can turn it into z-scores, so standardizing it would do what? Standardizing it would do what? We're going to get the IQ one up here in a moment. Standardizing it would do what? What would standardizing the values do? Particular IQ test. 130. Standardizing it would do what? Standardizing them would do what to them? It would do nothing. It would do nothing. So it'll do nothing to it. Standardizing the values would do absolutely nothing. So it won't change the values at all. Here we are, some chapter 5, normal curve. Let's check out the normal curve with the original z-scores right here. Let's check it out. So that would be definitely false, I believe. Standardizing the values will make the correlation 0. That's definitely false. It won't do anything to correlation. Standardizing values does nothing to correlation because they already are derived from z-scores. That is correct. Great job, Tiffany. Excellent work. And so we have here, this problem right here is best done by the David M. Lane applet. I am speedrunning this a bit. Office hours almost over. Thank you so much for all the questions, everybody. Mubot's telling us where to go, and he's saying go to the David M. Lane applet. This is where practice makes perfect, because for these problems, knowing how to read the applet is key. So this applet right here is showing us the percentages on the normal curve, and we can then solve this out. The first thing you want to do is go in here and type in your mean, which is the center of the curve. The mean is at 100, and the standard deviation. Now, I like to do it for both sides, where we put in the mean right here. Notice how this becomes 100, and then we put in the standard deviation, and then the units going up and down are 16. You're welcome, Alexander. Excellent work. Like, just throwing out some points right here. It's just the practice. It's just the practice. And so now when we do this, we want to know the percent of people who have an IQ above 85. This one takes a value and turns it into an area. So if we say above an 85, we'd go right here, and it's about here. So that's going to be about 82%. Yeah, 82.57. So 82.6. And just make sure your graphic looks like you think it should, as in above 85 would be there. Next, we need to go here and go below 90. So below 90 is somewhere in here. So like 28%. That's a tough one. That one is not going to be easily guessed. I said 28. It's 26.6. Yeah, dude, David M. Lane makes it so much easier. That's why, Emery, throwing you 100 points. Just swinging by and asking these questions, sometimes you're like, oh, it's so much easier here. But do try to draw out your graphics and see if you get the right answer. This one's pretty tough right here, 116 to 124. That's going to be something like, it's less than 13.5 because that's the area between here. So maybe like 6%. Remember, a good guess can help you for the test. But we know it's going to be graphed from here to about here. So I say about 6%. And the answer is 9.1. So that was the furthest I was off, which rounds to 9.2, not 9.1. Guessed a little bit quickly there. But Emery, great job right here. It's so much easier with the David M. Lane applet. And you want to know how to read the pictures and understand what you're seeing. Like you're seeing the IQs between this and this. And you usually want to put in your z-scores underneath this, which would be 0, 1, 2, 3, -1, -2, -3. Emery, great job. 100 points to end office hours. We just go crazy with the points here. That's how we roll. Thank you so much, Emery. Swing by anytime, ask some questions. It's just going to the assignments get a little more difficult as the semester goes on, but sometimes there's a trick to them or a way to do them that makes them a lot easier, and that's a speed run here. Puppet Shark, you have a good time today? You always have a good time, Puppet Shark. With that, Mubot, Evil Mubot, it is the end of office hours here. You know what we got? We got one of our famous closings right here. Let's do this, everybody. Time to go. But wait a minute. Wait. Can we? Hours. We've almost got these new intros ready. We're almost there.
This has been going for like 20 hours. This ends now.